right, so now we're going to be talking about the psychological part of the placebo effect and why it's so important and how does it actually work. And so, as we talked about before, we had the placebo effect. We had it right here on the left. This is improvement. This is improvement here. Improvement. So like somebody getting better. Improvement, right? Somebody's getting better. And here is the placebo effect. And we talked about that here. There's a social construct, or like the context of the placebo effect, the surroundings, right? The psychological. And we already talked about the biological. And then on top of that, if you give somebody drugs, then they're going to have another even more, they're going to have more effect. So this is the drug effect. And so then we can say, okay, if somebody's getting better, a big chunk of it is because of the placebo effect. And then another chunk of it is because of the drug effect. And so we talked about the biological part of it. And now we talk about the psychological part. And the psychological part has three parts to it. And this is important, so bear with me right here. The first part is called implicit learning. What does this mean? This is learning that we have done automatically. For instance, for diabetes, you have probably learned that type 2 diabetes is irreversible. You have probably learned that type 2 diabetes is just a chronic and irreversible disease. And so this would be implicit learning. You did not choose to learn it. It was just what was given to you. And your body and your mind makes belief systems out of that. The second thing is expectations. You expect to never get off the medication. You expect to have to take insulin for the rest of your life. You expect to eat a certain thing because it doesn't really make a difference, right? So those are the expectations. And then the last thing is the mindsets. And like what we talked about, do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Do you feel like your brain can actually change? And do you feel like you can change your belief systems to accommodate new belief systems that serve you or not? And so this is the mindset. And so this is so important because we've realized that psychologically, there is a big part of the placebo effect that works. For instance, if I give a patient a bottle and I put placebo on it and I give it to them, it has a certain effect, a small effect. If I give the patient a bottle and I put the name of the medication, let's say that is a medication called gabapentin. This one is for pain. Some of the studies were done, but it's the same placebo bottle, is the same placebo, is the same pills, but now it says the drug of the medication is supposed to be, boom, you get improvement and decrease on the pain. And so that's why it's so important that what we expect, what we're hearing, the biological and the psychological part is very big. And so the next part we're going to be talking is about the social part of it and how does really what's the surroundings impact the placebo effect.